Kotuya everyone. Thank you so much for checking out my channel and this video series on Soule's Light of the Jedi. My name is John and I am a Star Wars scholar. I create content for Star Wars fans like you and me by discussing things like plot, themes, philosophy, foreshadowing, and everything else that makes Star Wars so amazing. My hope is to offer you engaging videos with stuff that we both love, and I really hope that you take a moment to engage with me back. In this video, I offer my thoughts on Chapter 1. So let's begin. Chapter 1 explains what happens leading up to and right at the Great Disaster, as the reader follows Captain Hayda Cassett aboard her ship, the Legacy Run. We begin on the bridge, where Cassett is reassured that, quote, all is well. We get a brief history of her long military and merchant careers, with the takeaways being that she is a very experienced captain who has incorporated military order and discipline into every aspect of her ship and crew. While she began flying single-pilot fighters, she eventually moved on to captaining heavy cruisers and now the huge freighter. We follow Cassett on her evening rounds as she makes her way through her ship, checking and double-checking that everything, from passengers and crew to maintenance droids and the ship itself, are up to her high standards. Along the way, we learn stories about her time in the military and memorable experiences as captain of this freighter. Her thoughts drift to hyperspace and then to some of her passengers as they enjoy themselves in a makeshift communal area. She pauses to have a playful conversation with Serge, a young boy who is traveling with his parents as they make their way to the Outer Rim. Cassett's thoughts then move to Chancellor Soule and the state of the Republic as she finishes her rounds, checking on the Tibana canisters, the engines, various repairs and maintenance happening to keep the ship in as best a shape as can be managed, and the fuel storages. Having finished her rounds, Cassett returns to the bridge, checking again to ensure that all is well. Suddenly, alarms sound as she notices that hyperspace has taken on a reddish, sickly color. Sensors report that there is an obstacle in the hyperspace lane and impact is immediately imminent. Cassett takes a moment to reflect that while such an issue is impossible and mathematically absurd, her experience has taught her that the impossible happens every day. Cassett takes control of the piloting, and using her experience she is able to somehow miss the obstacle. However, the turbulence from her maneuver and the age of the Legacy Run, even despite the excellent condition Cassett has kept it in, begins to destroy the ship while still in hyperspace. The ship quickly fails her captain, and in the last few seconds of the chapter, Captain Hassett activates the bulkhead shielding that separates each cargo module in an attempt to save as many lives as she can. The chapter ends with Lieutenant Bowman being cut off while paying his last respects to his captain as the bridge rips open. Cassett and everyone else on the bridge immediately perish. This chapter shows the reader the writing skills of Soule, and particularly his ability to foreshadow. Most of the chapter is foreshadowing, with the payoffs either being in the final moments of the chapter or elsewhere in the book. From the opening of the chapter, we know that the life of Hayda Cassett is coming to an end. The subtitle to this chapter, and to subsequent chapters, counts down the moment to some great disaster. But for the crew of the Legacy Run, their worlds will no longer be all is well by the end of the chapter. But such a sad moment is necessary to act as a catalyst for the events of the High Republic era. Without conflict, there is no plot. Soule makes a point to dwell on the quality of the ship. It is a good ship, and though past its prime, it has, through excellent attention, upkeep, and maintenance, survived well beyond its intended lifespan. I cannot help but wonder if the Legacy Run and Cassett are symbols for the Star Wars universe as a whole and its writers and fans. A film over 40 years ago is still inspiring and influencing generations all over the world, and that influence and inspiration comes directly from those most closely involved with the upkeep and sustainability of Star Wars. Cassett looks back at her life, over the struggles and adventures, and believes her career has been good work. I would guess those that have been responsible for sustaining Star Wars over the decades would say much the same about their own Star Wars careers. It has been good work. Much is made of Cassett's military career and how it affects everything she does. As she says, it is not so much in her blood as it simply is her blood. Casset is a captain who cares about her job, her crew, her ship, and her profession. A major foreshadowing involves Casset's restless nature and the feeling that she will die looking out a viewport and the hopes of seeing something she has never seen before. And that is exactly what happens. Casset dies in the pilot's chair, pushing his ship to and beyond its limits while seeing something she has never seen before. The next string of foreshadowings come just a few paragraphs later. Casset reflects on what she calls the, quote, dark edge of the galaxy, as being something exciting and deadly. And this is most certainly true of any border or edge of known space and comfort. Indeed, we, as readers, are following along with the writers of Project Luminous to go to that dark edge of the Star Wars galaxy, which is both incredibly exciting and wrought with dangers. Casset also reflects on the nature and function of hyperspace itself, calling the use of hyperspace tricky. She continues her thinking, considering the dangers of hyperspace travel, even on the well-traveled paths. While she is suspicious of hyperspace in general, she ultimately consoles herself, if only a little, that the hyperspace lane she is currently traveling on is the one that is most often used. But even with those facts, she worries. And as we find out by the end of the chapter, her worry is well-founded. In her final moments, it will be hyperspace that becomes her downfall, and something impossible, in this case being an obstacle in hyperspace, is what causes the ship to be destroyed. But she sees the impossible obstacle in their path through the viewport with her experienced eyes, and so her own prophecy is fulfilled. Her short conversation with Serge is another foreshadowing, but one far more personal and somber. Serge will survive this disaster, and he will dream of his time aboard Legacy Run, but it will not be as Casset describes. It will not be remembered as a time of peace, relaxation, and joy, but of danger, devastation, and death. Soule returns to the image of the Legacy Run as a symbol, later implying that the freighter is much like the Republic itself, quote, a tiny, well-maintained world in the wilderness, a warm bubble of safety holding back the void. And much like the fate of the freighter, the Republic will also be unable to hold back the void of space, of darkness, and of evil. In making this parallel, Casset's thoughts on Chancellor Soule become a reflection of herself, and adds an additional layer of meaning to that symbolization. The Legacy Run, the High Republic, and the Star Wars universe are tiny, well-maintained worlds in the ever-present wilderness of what is beyond them, acting as warm bubbles to hold back the void of space, of chaos, and of evil. The freighter, the High Republic, and Star Wars is not perfect, as nothing can ever be, but the love, care, and effort of Casset, Soule, and the writers and fans of Star Wars keep these symbols alive so people have the room to dream big and dream small. They all have their flaws, but they could all be a lot worse. In the end, perhaps any writer of Star Wars is not Captain Casset, but Lieutenant Bowman, who serves dutifully, passionately, and respectfully at the helm of a great vessel that transports us all away from whatever is on our home worlds to a place of dreams, opportunity, and ultimately life. Yet a writer's career in Star Wars is much like Lieutenant Bowman's career. They serve aboard a ship as it travels across the stars, and there is always that danger of not being able to finish what they want to say. Let us hope that our voices get the opportunity to finish what we have to say. Thanks for sticking around to the end of this video. Please drop a like if you think this video deserves it, and comment if you would like to add your thoughts. Also, check out any of my other videos in this playlist or any of my other videos if you would like. Until next time, my friends, stay on target, and may the Force be with you.